First, live, local. This is First Alert Weather Extra.
And good evening to you, folks. I'm Mark Nelsen, Chief Meteorologist here at KPTV. This is our First Alert Weather Extra, our weather show, as far as I'm aware. Peyton, this is our the only weather show in Portland.
Yeah.
In the evenings or the mornings, right?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, we're one of a kind. Peyton Major, whoops, the other way, you're over there. Another one of our meteorologists. And we got lots to talk about this evening. We got a brand new week. It is the 9th of February. So that means we're heading into mid-February. Any thoughts on that? Peyton,
Lots of thoughts, actually. We'll get to that later.
Yeah. So we're going to cover, we got three kind of main topics we're going to cover here. Maybe not necessarily in this order, but winter so far. Peyton's going to cover that in just a second. She'll be back. Don't go far. Okay. And then we'll talk about this Splitty weather pattern. What does that mean and what does Splitty mean? Okay, we'll explain. And then we'll come back and talk about the Cascade snow conditions. And then we've got, is it too late to snow around here? If you've lived here long, you probably know the answer, but it seems like it's getting pretty late into the winter and still no official snow. So let's go over to you, Peyton, first.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say the number one question we always get is it going to snow? Is it going to snow? A lot of questions now is, is it not going to snow? Are we ever going to get snow? I don't think so.
I found, Peyton, typically once we get past Valentine's Day, people start saying, is that it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fork in winter, question mark? Yeah, we get a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, it's no surprise. It's been a very harsh winter. It's been very warm so far. Man, we've been kind of spoiled if you think, East Coast versus West Coast, how cold it's been over there and how warm it's been here. Now, we look at these average temperatures. They kind of sound lame, right? 30s and 40s. But remember, this is the high and the low averaged together. And so 45 at the Portland airport. I think last week, I think it was February 1st, I made this graphic and kind of updated it, and there was only 4 locations left over that had the warmest winter on record. But then I look back today after that warm stretch we had last week with the high pressure just sitting overhead. We added a couple more cities back up to top. So Portland Airport, Troutdale, Scappoose, LeGrand, Burns, Aurora, and Hermiston, all the warmest. I missed one thing. Hold on. There we go. Second warmest. Not going to forget about you, Redmond, Hillsborough, and Vancouver, because you're right on the edge. So, yeah, it's been very warm. This is all the way since December 1st. And let's just talk about December, right? December was really warm. We had 4 60-degree days. The record was 5. We were 1 day short of that from 1980. And it was also, of course, a very, very warm month. It was the warmest December on record, right?
I've already forgotten, Peyton. I believe you.
I'm like, wait, did it? Was it? I thought I had a graphic in there. Maybe I do. Maybe I put it in the wrong order. That's okay.
Maybe
okay,
not.
Number of 50-degree days.
I'm going to check while you talk.
Okay, cool. 38 in Portland. 38 50-degree days, and we're not even through winter yet. That's the 4th highest. 25 in LeGrand and Burns has just been shattering records. First highest with the number of 50-degree days, but also the warmest winter there. And second place for the number of 50-degree days up until February 8th is 15. So Burns has been just completely shattering whatever second place is. Okay, here it is. I put it in. Warmest December, 47.4. A little out of order there. Was this year's warmest December on record. 46.4 was the previous one. So yeah, a whole degree. Again, we're talking average temperatures here. So very little changes between places here, but a whole degree higher than 1950. So January comes and we had, I think, 12 50-degree days. And our average is about 10, right? 11? I don't know. I should know that. 23 days, those are records. So we were obviously far shy from our record, but, kind of in line to what we had the last little bit. Warmest January day was actually 61, and that ended up being our warmest January day since 2021, if you follow the line there. So that was a pretty unusual, 5 degrees shy of our record. All in all, yes, it's been a very warm winter, but we're going to come back and talk about what we see in the coming weeks and what kind of on an average winter we can expect for the last 3 weeks or so. 2 weeks of winter. I'm like, is it 2, 3?
2.5.
2.5, in between.
And you're going to show us like the snow, kind of what's changed over the years too, snow-wise, right?
Yeah, we're going to look back at the last 30 years and then the 30 years before that.
deep dive into
compare
snow stats.
stuff.
That should be interesting because actually that is, even for regular folks, pretty interesting, not just the weather geeks like us.
Yes.
Okay, let me cover some of the day-to-day stuff and talk about this Splitty jet stream that's coming up here. So she's covered the winter so far. Radar shows the showers have really diminished. We didn't have that much rain. I mean, look at the that much rain today, I should say. 700ths of an inch. A lot of the showers just avoided the airport, but a lot of us just saw, you know, a few sprinkles here and there. What a soaker yesterday. I mean, we kept saying Super Bowl Sunday looks like an indoor day. Wow, an inch of rain, almost half an inch on Saturday. We did have those 5 dry days the work week. Last week mainly dry. This work week, not very wet either. It's going to happen once again. So now we're at just under 2 inches for February. 1.22 inches is typical at this point in the month. So we're slightly above average, but now we're going to come back to average. Okay, watch 2 different things. I might play this twice because this is First Alert Weather Extra, so we'll do it an extra. And in fact, I'm sitting there just yakking about it. There's a weather system down here in off the California coast, if I could say it right. Let's do it again. There's one down here, but then look at this one approaching from the west. This one looks like maybe it's headed towards us, but it is not. And there's a third going by to the north. This one is actually headed down to California. It's not coming right at us. We have a split in the jet stream. I can't remember, Peyton. I'm thinking this was around Thanksgiving and early December when we had this pattern before, right?
Right.
Before it got stormy in like the 10th of December.
And I want to say it was even maybe early January. It happened again.
Right. I feel like we've talked about this maybe 3 times.
Or maybe late January. Yeah.
I think that's right. So if we just kind of draw this is actually at 18,000 feet. This is not actually a jet stream level, but the general flow is about, let's say the blue to the green here would be the jet stream. So actually most of the country is warmed up nicely now. But you see this, there's a dip here. So if we want to get really wet pattern, you know, when we get kind of stormy and strong cold fronts coming through, coastal storms, we get the good Cascade snowfall. You want to see things consolidated coming right to, kind of like what you see here. You want this coming right at the Pacific Northwest. But instead, here we are right now. Let's go through the next few days, put it in motion here, and look how this kind of splits and heads towards California. You see it there, and the one that's off the California coast, they kind of move around each other a little bit of the Fujiwara effect, as they say. But here we are on Wednesday, so this does leave us dry, but all the action is going to the south or to the north. All right, so that's through Wednesday and Thursday, a little bit of weak ridging Thursday. Okay, so we're still dry Thursday. Remember, a week ago, we thought this would be all consolidated. We were going to have a cool and wet week coming up. That's totally evaporated now. You like the pun there a little bit? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then it looks, okay, things are getting organized again. Maybe for the big holiday weekend, we've been thinking, okay, could be some nice snow in the mountains coming up for the big 3-day weekend. This is Thursday the 12th. And it looks consolidated, but then look what happens. Bang, it splits again and goes to the south. So when we get this split flow, a lot of the energy is diverted around the northwest, and California gets some rain and snow, although this is not a really stormy pattern for them, but you know, they get something at least. So this takes us to Sunday. And the problem is most of the models don't seem to clue into this until like 4 or 5, 6 days ahead of time, maybe 4 or 5 days ahead of time. And then you see, okay, maybe something's coming, but no, this one seems to want to really stretch as well. This is Monday, President's Day, really stretching, and we're into the southerly flow here. We're getting the leftovers from California. I just know when I see this pattern, yes, we get some rain in this pattern, we get some mountain snow, but this can be really weak sauce for us. All right, so here's the forecast cloud cover. And you can see this is our evening model just came in. The leftover showers evaporate overnight. There is that weather system in California spreading lots of clouds across southern Oregon. We wake up, I think it's partly cloudy. This may actually, if we get enough high clouds lingering tonight, that would keep the fog development at bay. Otherwise, there'll be areas of dense fog. And then tomorrow afternoon, look at this, the whole northwest corner of Oregon, all of western Washington, most of the Cascades, nice and sunny. Tomorrow night, a little impulse goes across southern Oregon. You see it there. There's Boise, so Burns is right here. You may wake up to a little bit of snow on the ground on Wednesday morning. Same thing south and east of Burns, Bend too. But we're all clear Wednesday. So 2 pretty sunny days. That's Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, there's some high clouds streaming by from the northwest, but that's still a pleasant day. So uneventful the next 3 days as stuff goes around us. So tonight, we'll go 30s. Actually, there'll be some 20s. I meant to adjust these downward. Mid-30s in the city, but probably 30 in the outlying cold areas. So I'm not too concerned about ice on roadways because most roads are dry, and most roads will probably stay above freezing anyway. But just be aware in the morning. So mainly sunny tomorrow at the coast. We got mid-50s, a little bit of a northeasterly breeze. Here in the valleys tomorrow, morning fog, then sunny and warm in the afternoon. Warm now is mid-50s. The average high is 51 this time of the year, so we're overachieving. There will be some easterly wind in the gorge, and I know last week we said, oh, it won't be too strong, and then it was really strong. We don't have a big inversion, so I'm not concerned about the wind getting crazy strong this week. But it'll be windy if you're out at Vista House or Multnomah Falls tomorrow. Mainly sunny and warmer on Mount Hood. More on the mountain in just a minute, but about 38 at Government Camp. Icy spots mainly in the morning. The passes right now, I checked the cameras. They don't have snow on them, but they are wet. So we assume it'll freeze tonight. 33 at Timberline and Meadows. So with the increasing sun angle, you'll lose a little bit of snow there in the sunny areas. Mainly sunny and warmer in eastern and central Oregon. Not all sunny, but mainly sunny. Lots of 40s. All right, Cascade update. So we got some snow over the weekend. We desperately need it. But it was kind of a one-shot deal again. That's the view up at Ski Bowl, and we like to see the fresh snow on the trees, the fresh snow on the ground. There wasn't much snow left here. But what we don't like to see is in early to mid-February, we've still got the little trees sticking out of the snow, which means there's only 10 inches or less on the ground up that elevation. Ski Bowl's closed for that reason. They need new snow. They picked up about 4 inches down at the base, a little more up where our camera is. But at Government Camp, only about 4 inches at 3,800 feet. A little over a foot fell at Timberline, a little under a foot at Meadows. So yes, we got a foot of snow. I saw the reports. I'm on those Facebook pages too, for the skiers, and people had great fun. But this is it for a while. Snow level forecast, you can see it's not real crazy high the next few days, but it's around 6,000 feet. Dips again Friday, Saturday, and kind of up and down here. But the moisture is the limiting factor for getting a bunch of snow in the Cascades. This is the European model. I think it's a little drier than I know it's drier than other models, but some other models are as dry as this, saying through the holiday weekend, very little snow. Actually, the snowiest models only show a foot of snow in the next week. So we're not going to get any significant snow to open up the ski resorts that are closed. Most of it's heading for California, although it's not a huge amount there. Maybe 2 feet in some spots in the Sierra. So to kind of wrap it up for skiing, we got let's be positive, 3 Cascade ski areas are open. That's Mount Hood Meadows, Timberline, and Bachelor. Each of those has relatively limited terrain. And then the six ski areas are closed in the Cascades. It's Cooper Spur, Summit, Ski Bowl, 3 down, Hoodoo, Willamette, and then Mount Ashland. I don't know, you could debate whether that's a Cascade ski area. It's in the Siskiyous, but the point is it's kind of in the Cascades. We got the snow this weekend, but I see less than a foot of snow all the way through the 3-day holiday weekend. So I think there's a decent chance these ski areas, 1 or 2 of them might try to open a few runs, but that's the best we can do. We're not going to see a sudden snowfall. I was hoping by President's Day weekend, Payton, that we'd have 3 or 4 feet of new snow. 2 weeks ago, a week ago, we were like, oh, this could be it. It could be big.
I feel like we keep saying that.
Yeah, but not much melting coming up the next 7 days. I think the biggie is the models just don't see the splitting of the jet stream. Okay, so our 7-day forecast, we'll keep it moving here. We got a nice warm afternoon tomorrow, warm afternoon Wednesday. I mentioned the east wind, by the way, coming back tomorrow. Here's just the forecast. Tomorrow morning, this is daybreak at Troutdale, gusts 15 to 20. It goes up 20 to 30, but it doesn't get up in that 40 range like we saw last week. Thursday, dry. Friday, a few showers come in. And then Saturday, Valentine's Day, you got big plans with your lover. Oops, I messed that up. I hit the wrong button. You got big plans maybe on Saturday. We're going to call, I just put this as few showers, more dry than wet. Payton, most of our models have a few more shower chances on Saturday than the other days, so maybe I should reverse these. But that's the broad brushing going on here. Yeah. And in fact, just the European model, you can see it here. Is it going to play right? There it goes. Yeah, you can see we're going through the daytime Saturday and scattered showers here and there. I mean, we can't nail down little spots of showers that far ahead of time. Total rain, though, I mean, this kind of tells a story. Total rain, this is for Sunday. So if we go right now, go out in time, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yikes. Boy, yeah, less than a ½ inch of rain in a week. That's drier than normal. So final thoughts here. Next 7 to 10 days, kind of the big picture, what is likely in the next 7 to 10 days? Could we see lowland snow? Payton's going to get more into the possibilities. I mean, what could happen this time of the year, but what we were seeing right now, I'm going to call it unlikely lowland snow in the next 10 days. There's a chance if we get that colder trough offshore that swings in next Tuesday, Wednesday, what is that? I don't know, 17th, 18th, 19th in there, maybe next work week. Could we be in a pattern where we finally get some snow in the foothills? Possibly. Okay, that's one thing. Arctic blast, no. And in fact, since this is going to take us beyond Valentine's Day, I don't believe we've seen a 15-degree or colder temperature in my entire career after the middle part of February. So my guess is if you're a gardener like me, we are probably not going to have a huge freeze this winter. What we had back in January is it. Windstorm, no, because I don't see any strong lows near the coast. We'll watch that, of course. And I sure don't see any widespread flooding. That's a climatologically widespread flooding chance does go down the second half of February. And that is why Army Corps of Engineers, they're filling reservoirs in the month of February, because the chance of a big flood goes way down. I can only remember one instance in my entire career, what's that, 30-something years, where we had flooding, like concerned about a lot of heavy rain, many days. It was in April, I don't know, 5 years ago. So there you go. That is your 7-day forecast. That's what we see. Every single one of these temperatures is at or above average. It will be slightly cooler, though, over the weekend. Okay, Peyton.
We'll take that.
What are the chances? Are you saying there's a chance?
See, you put the unlikely, you put yellow. I'm a big color person. I think we should have gone green on the scale that you just
850, had. There were several models with, I know it's a GFS, but several models had 850 millibar temps below -6, which always gives a chance.
We'll see. We'll
Give
see.
the people some hope, some
I'm
hopium.
skeptical.
That's what
I
we're
know,
looking
everyone's
for.
like, please, please. I'm skeptical. Okay, well, let's look at our daily almanac, and more so the averages, as Mark was saying, the next few days are above average. 51 is that this time of year, and 37 is our average low. Today was near average high temperature, and low was just slightly above average. But yeah, today we had 0.07 of an inch of rain at PDX. February, we're about 1/2 an inch above where we should be. And if you want to take this graphic full, because I know the numbers are kind of hard to see. So far in 2026, we've had about 4.5 inches of rain. It is a deficit, but that's largely because January was about 50% drier than it should have been. February, here we are, February 2026.
Wow.
5 degrees above normal. That was as of yesterday. We'll tack on today's high temp, which again was 54, and I'm sure it'll still be around 5 degrees. And then also our warmest February day so far hasn't quite been 60 degrees. We're early though. We have plenty of time left to hit that 60. Last year was crazy when we hit 70 degrees. I forgot the exact date.
It was in the last 2 or 3 days of the month.
Yeah, it was the very end. But still, that was crazy. And surprisingly not the record. 71 was the record in 1988. And then February 60-degree days, obviously I said we don't have any so far this month. We're early. We had 4 last year, 3 in 2024, and most years around 0 to 1. 9 though. And was that 2016? I'm going back. Yes, 2016. And that wasn't the record.
That was the warmest February on record here.
Oh, there we go. And then you got 10 days in 1991. Okay, so yeah, odds of a late winter snow. If you joined us last week, I did show this graphic, but I want to bring it back because we are now basically February 10th, tomorrow. 28 is the number of years since last year that we've had measurable snow. 33% of winters have snow after February 10th. There we go. February 20th, 27%. See this percentage go down as we go week by week. March 1st, 15%. March 7th, 10%. Yes, Mark.
And we should define measurable snow means that's more than a trace. It has to be 0.1 inch.
Yes, 1/10 of an inch.
Basically, the flakes need to sit there on the ground.
It's not just the flakes on your windshield or on, a little bit of grass. No, it needs to be
has to stick.
1/10 of an inch. Yep. So that's really important to know. This is measurable snow. We may still see flurries, and that percentage will probably be a lot higher. Okay, so this is the fun graphic we hinted at. This is the winter snow in Portland. We're now looking at the last 30 years, 1996 through 2025. Obviously, we can't contribute this year yet because it's not finished. But this is the number of years it has snowed out of that 30-year period. Let's go through the months. November, 2 of them. December, 13 of them. January, 11. February, 11. In March and April, we've had 6 snow events. And you can see those snow totals as well, really peaking in the months of January and February, 49 inches in the last 30 winters. All right, this is the fun part. Let's look back 30 years before that. So now we're going to look at 1966 to 1995. Oh, wait a second. Do we see the difference here? I'll go back in a second, but first let's analyze this. This is 4 years it snowed out of 30 in November, 14 in December, 13 in January, 10 in February, and 3 in March. Okay. Well, first of all, there is a little more snow on average per month, but if I go back, you can see January and February are much snowier in recent years than the last the 30 before that. December and January were snowier. So we can kind of come to the conclusion that in the last 30 years, climatologically, there's been more snow events later in the winter than the first half of winter. And I know that's been something that a lot of people have mentioned, actually, even to me or Mark and I have even came to that observation. Gosh, there's been a lot of snow events in February as of in comparison of December. Besides 2008.
Yeah, Payton, when I was growing up, here we go, way back when I was a kid. Yeah, it was more December, January. Like once you got to February, it's like, maybe, but it seems unlikely. And even early in my career, it hardly snowed in February, just a year or two here or there. Yeah,
what was our last big December? I guess there has been December snow events, but
actually, it's been a while since we've had a big December snow.
2008 is obviously the one I distinctly remember.
Actually, now that I think about it, I can't remember the last time we have like a 5-inch snowfall in December. Even the 12, 14, 16, where the kids were on school buses waving at midnight.
Right.
I'm stuck somewhere. That was only, I think, a 2 or 3-inch snowfall. Wow. I can't remember the last time we had like a 5 or 10-inch December snowfall. All the biggies recently have been January and February.
Yeah, they have. And especially ice storms as well.
And there's no reason that should be. I mean, there's something cyclical. We don't know why.
Yeah.
And it may change back.
Right now, it's an observation.
Yeah.
But all we can say is, if you look at the data, 30 years from 60s to the 90s, it was snowier in December and January than it is now in January and February. Coldest winter temperatures, you can see 22 was our coldest so far and may end up being our coldest. As Mark said, the Arctic blast chances are not good. And so 22 will probably end up being our coldest winter temp. That was January 25th. We had 15 degrees in 2023, 2024 winter. That was in January. And I was curious to see how cold it's been in Salem, Vancouver, Astoria, Redmond, Pendleton. Again, this is the coldest lows this season so far since December 1st. Salem 20, Astoria 30. That's pretty common because all the moisture there. Redmond 5 degrees. Pendleton 18. Same with Vancouver. Interesting. Okay, that's not abnormal, I'd say. But our morning lows stay right below average the next few days, again, because more sunshine, less moisture. That means that our highs turn really cool at night because we lose all the heat of the day. Then we'll get to near 40, maybe Friday, Saturday, and we'll get cooler again at the start of next week. Again, average lows should be around mid to upper 30s. Okay, I showed this last week, but again, it's very important that you know that since we are in this month that has historically brought us some snow, at least in recent years, we are constantly looking at pattern recognition, 7 to 10 days out. Is there anything interesting on the way? And that's why Mark says, it is unlikely for lowland snow, but it may happen, maybe 7 to 10 days out. There could be a small little chance because of that pattern change. And then we're trending up and down in 5 to 7 days. We're going to see if it's going to be lowland snow, if it's going to be too warm, too cold. 3 to 5 days out, we can say, oh, will it be all snow? Maybe ice, maybe the intensity, is it going to be a big event or just a small nuisance event? 1 to 3 days out, we can say, okay, this location is going to get this amount of snow. Timing, this is going to happen likely between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. or whatever, timing is. So that's why it's really important to really focus on the forecast. And even if it is 7 to 10 days out, yeah, sure, you can be like, I'm going to keep my eye on next week. But you don't need to see the snowflake icon on your app and believe that that's going to happen. Speaking of the app, you have it too, Mark. Wow, look at us.
We're ready to go.
We're really
thinking alike.
plugging this thing. It's free. And look, you got 2 QR codes to choose from. Wow. Yeah, I've been doing this all week and I've been plugging it because I'm like, you know what? The radar, obviously, is such a good tool to have. But you also have Future View, Futurecast, I think it's called on there. And you can scroll through and see what's to come. So important, especially we're still in wet season. So just a good tool.
We've got a lot of content in there. In fact, I believe you can get to these old First Alert weather extras. If not, you can get to them on the website for sure, old style. If you're like me, you need the big TV monitor.
Old style. Yeah.
And what else? We have the weather blog. I don't know, maybe I'll do a blog post this evening, maybe not. We'll see. Depends how much time we have.
Yeah, we got a lot of things. Honestly, if you're looking for weather information, we got it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We'd like to put, I see some other weather apps from other places, TV stations, and there's not much on there. So we like that.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Are we it? Is that it, Payton?
That's it.
We're good?
That's all I got.
Okay, thanks for joining us for First Alert Weather Extra. We will be back here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. and hopefully have a whole bunch of new little interesting tidbits of information for you, and of course all the important information for this big upcoming holiday weekend. So have a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow.